So how do you increase the level of data and reusability around the data? But also the level of sophistication of your back office platform through AI across multiple functions. That is very difficult to get buy-in or to actually explain and reach out to your ambition just by talking about the platform. I found that what is really exciting is to build that platform over time by delivering certain initiatives for it.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Ecommert Podcast. Today we're with Bastien Parizot at Reckitt USA headquarters. Thanks for having us, Bastien.
Thanks for coming with me here.
Of course, when you travel to the US a few times a year, it's a privilege and opportunity for us to catch you in between calls. Thanks for meeting us right before your flight.
I'm happy to, and it's always energizing before going on a short flight.
And I'm glad you challenged me to make this happen because we published a couple of research, we published a couple of insights, and you said that, hey, Mert, you need to bring your AI act together. I need to share more information with you. So that's why we're here, all ears, to learn from you about what you're building, what Reckitt is working on.
You tell me at the end if you change your opinion.
Probably I will, but let's see what you got under the hood.
Yeah.
But before we get into the juicy stuff, I want to learn about your history, journey, how you ended up here at Reckitt, what your team is working on in the future. What was the interesting points on the journey?
Sure. So I'm Bastien. I'm French, as everyone will hear with my thick accent. I have been at Reckitt for about 4 years now in the London headquarters and traveling regularly to the US because a lot of things are happening here. We're doing a few things. When I say with my team, I'm looking after everything marketing, R&D from a technology perspective. Looking after everything IT and technology for emerging markets, which is a really exciting space to learn from.
And fast learning process.
Pace of it as well. And my passion point is looking after our AI transformation.
Right.
Which that's exactly why I'm in the US this week, actually, working with the US team on what's next and how do we push the envelope on what you can do for that business.
Are we catching up? Are we doing good in the AI race?
I think it's a learning journey for everyone.
Okay,
So I'm going to try and avoid saying that we're doing a fantastic job on agentic and all of the shiny objects. Let's maybe make it real and the real challenges we're facing and what it takes and so on. I think that's what is of interest for me.
I heard and saw a couple of tangible solutions already, so I think you had pretty good progress.
Yeah, there's a few things that are working well. There's a few things where we see challenges, some challenges coming because we are learning our way to deliver it. But this is what is fascinating with the times that we're in with AI here.
I know, all of us suddenly have become students all over again.
Which is great.
Great, I love it, I love it. But it also comes with the ebbs and flows on the journey, and you change categories, industries a couple of times. You work in one of my favorite companies, Renault. My grandfather used to drive a Renault when I was a baby. So tell us a little bit about what you've been to, what you learned at Nestle, at Renault, and now Reckitt.
Sure, so I actually had a first life before that. I worked in sports, which was my passion initially.
Okay.
So outdoor sports, skiing and so on. So I've worked, so if you I grew up in the Alps. I grew up skiing, and I ended up working for my favorite ski brand, which is Salomon. So I had the best time of my life going skiing everywhere I was traveling. Perfect. I moved to CPG, Nestle. Really, really great experience. The scale of it is really getting you learnings every single day. I worked there on, I think at the time we would say digital transformation.
Right.
How do we bring media to a certain level of personalization? How do we look at the consumer data footprint? How do we make something out of it? So all of those great topics we basically did for a few years. Fantastic experience. Then I moved to Renault Automotive. Really great to learn from a different commercial model with selective distribution, really working closely with the dealer networks. The depth of data you have in automotive versus CPG is actually quite impressive what you can do with it.
Which one is deeper?
Automotive for sure.
Oh, really?
So CPG is a game of volume, right? When you think of data and what you get. But actually, when you go in automotive, the data you get from the car itself, from navigation, from the software, from the dealers.
Okay, you have more control over data.
It's really, really impressive and exciting. So exciting times there as well. In a tough time because during COVID, automotive was really, really suffering.
Of course.
But I came back to what I really love, which is the diversity of thoughts, business, everything that you can do in CPG is really something that is different. So I came back there and came back at Reckitt, which I
Okay, another interesting angle for me. Who has more first-party data, automotive or FMCG?
So I mean, I don't know every single footprint for any single company, but I would say more. I would probably CPG,
Okay.
but because they've been chasing a game of volume, which I think has changed now.
Right.
Automotive has the depth that is really, really helpful to look at how do you tailor your incentive for the dealers and for the consumers with your media together? How do you do scoring and algorithm to prevent or to actually predict when you need to go to the dealer to change some of your spare parts
Of
and so on? This
course.
is really exciting data you get there. Volumes, I would say CPG, but
It's more laser focused.
what you can do with it, I think there's a lot more depth in industries like probably finance, insurance, automotive, and so on.
I see. It would be interesting. I never worked in automotive, but I'm fascinated by the industry. I'm a big fan of cars, but yeah, I would love to see that kind of granular data one day maybe. Now, let's come to the similar topic from automotive to platform.
Yeah.
Because we talk about this nowadays, strategies are built on the platforms before it's executed. And now you're in the journey of this digital transformation platform building. Now strategy from media, strategy from execution, R&D is becoming more and more platformed, or let's say it's turning into an intelligent platform layer. Can you give us a little bit of behind the scenes feeling, how it feels to be building those platforms in an organization like Reckitt?
So it's a very exciting journey. It is a challenging one because I think while I agree with what you say, where like you named it intelligent platform, I would put into that everything that is data, AI, enabling analytics across multiple functions, integrating functions together, whether it's innovation, marketing together, or supply and manufacturing together. So I think what I saw is that it's very difficult to get buy-in or to actually explain and reach out to your ambition just by talking about the platform. I found that what is really exciting is to build that platform over time by delivering certain initiatives for it. So how do you increase the level of data and reusability around your data through revenue growth management in implementation, for instance? And then how do you grow the level of data, but also the level of sophistication of your back office platform through AI across multiple functions? This is what is really interesting in the times that we're in, because every time you do that for RGM, and then you do that for AI, and then you do that for marketing aspect, your platform gets more intelligence.
Of course.
And the next function, the next capability that you build is being built faster, is reusing more data points, is getting you more insight. And I think this is why this is really an interesting journey we are here.
Thinking about it, is there a challenge to upgrade the existing legacy platforms, especially the massive ones, to adapt to the speed of the newly built AI-driven platforms? Are they hybridizing, communicating easily, or there was always a big bridge to pass?
I think there's multiple big bridges.
Okay. yeah, exactly.
First one is some of the foundational platforms and systems you have, like ERPs and so on. They're not going to.
Nobody wants to touch SAP or any.
They're not going to go away.
Of
That's
course.
the reality of it. So how do you bridge everything that is really necessary that comes from those systems into another system or platform that you need to deliver fast-paced capabilities based on AI that might be customized in a market versus another, or for a brand versus another? So that bridge is really hard to pass.
Of course.
I do think the platforms and the capabilities we're building are changing in terms of shape as well. When you think of every single company out there, have been dropping their data on one or two clouds. Every single cloud hyperscaler that out there is enabling everyone to assemble things together. You can use Google Cloud, you can use Azure to actually build some type of algorithm, machine learning models that you want. And so you don't necessarily need to go outside and buy for those. You can also build, you can iterate, you can test yourself. And I think this is also the key change into this intelligent platform that you said. You can do a lot more as long as the data is sitting already there. And that has become a really interesting way of testing, piloting, checking the value, and then scaling here.
I like it because I share a similar view. As long as you're able to bring data and own your data, the challenge then, how are you going to interpret and make this data meaningful? Because you can adapt trillions of gigabytes of data, but to your point, okay, are we able to control the less amount, but build meaningful action from the, and that's why it's intelligent.
Yes.
Otherwise, junk data doesn't make you intelligent, or the amount of data is not the level of intelligence either.
Yeah, and I think what you get from the outside, don't get me wrong, we work with great partners, but I think also if you really expect that there's going to be some magic box that comes to you into saying you don't need to actually work hard on your data, you don't need to understand your work processes and your business in and out, you don't need to contextualize how your business is providing you an insight.
Right.
No one's going to do that for you.
No.
So in the end, I think the capabilities to do that, the technologies to do that, are becoming easier and easier to adopt. And I think it gives companies like us, we're not tech first, right? So our business is CPG. It gives us a bit of a new world to actually test with and to do interesting first.
I was going to go into agentic topics, autonomous topic, but now you open another question for me. Because I worked on this, I published some articles and research around this. In my school, we call it citizen data scientist.
Yes.
And I think you would agree with me to this data topic and intelligent platform capability topic. You need people to have certain capability to interpret, process, build the data capability, right? How is it challenging in the speed of AI and agentic platforms? Are companies investing enough in their human capital to bring them up to speed with data capabilities or educating them on the data science?
So I think there's maybe 3 layers to that.
Yeah.
One is when you say citizen data science, which is like
basic understanding.
Similar to citizen programs that we've had around citizen development. So we had a program around citizen development. How do we enable everyone, everyone with the right skill set to actually start building some apps? So in AI, I think there's a little bit of the same. I would call that tactical AI, where you have a lot of stuff out there that you can even put in enterprise grade perspective that you can enable someone in the market to do a very execution-focused type of workflow with AI and so on. And I think this is one layer. And this is available already. This is working with tools that are either available or easy to access, like Copilot Studio, these kind of things. I think there's another layer, which is upskilling. I think you're right. How do you upskill people in the functions? Because in the end, they will be the one using AI tools. So we've deployed a lot of AI solutions.
Adoption and engagement.
In marketing and R&D. And it's less about understanding how to build those tools, but it's for people to understand how to prompt. It's for people to understand what we call the tacit knowledge that they need to have into the solution. What do they know that needs to be into the solution? The food process.
Or are they able to interpret what solution gives them?
So that the output is actually being meaningful and useful. And so there's many layers to that, I think, and so this is, I think you need to actually enter all of those initiatives at the same time.
To bring the enterprise to the same level, so tech will not be far enough to reach, or tech will not be a foreign language to them.
And also to translate what's coming to everyone, right? If you work in marketing today, or in R&D, or in supply, you will have on a given week right now, maybe 10 or 20 discussions with external potential partners telling you that they have a fantastic AI doing this, they have a fantastic AI doing that, which is probably true in most of the cases. But you need to be able to understand if that works for you, if it's the right time, the right context, how much effort will you need to put into that you could put and that you actually want to prioritize. And then is it then responsible AI that you would want to put in there is also a question.
My wife works at Amazon. And you know what they're doing with them? She's an architect. She's working in the retail department, building more grocery stores for Amazon expansion. But they're asking them, just like you described, they're giving them an AI sandbox, and they're asking them to build tools they can use in their day-to-day. And then they accepting those products they built for a contest, whether it can be product or commercialized by Amazon to be serviced to the market. It's a loop. They're creating their own loop while they're educating their employees to use AI for product building.
The best way to, this is why I was in the US this week to talk to the marketing teams about the solutions we deployed. We have a few hundred users actually on those solutions. And the best way to learn AI for me is to actually learn AI through what you need to deliver for your function or for your business.
Right.
I think trying to upskill just on the AI skill set is very conceptual. If I'm a marketer, if I'm a brand marketer, I want to use AI and understand AI in the context of what it can do for my brand, analyzing my brand performance, accessing insights, many of other use cases that actually make sense for me.
Now there's another contest going on the same topic. Now, as we try to bring our team members specific functions to have certain understanding of AI, there is agentic and automation happening at the same time. And I know you're a big advocate of the difference or distinction, whether it's an agentic workflow or autonomous agent. How do you define those two? What is the difference between those two?
So I think you can find as many definitions as you would.
Of course, everything is in wild west now.
The way I would simply put it, and then if the language evolves, we will evolve with the language.
Right.
I don't really mind, but I think there is agents now has become anything. If you look at OpenAI, they release Agent Kit.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the basic definition of what they add, it's basically one LLM call with one action. They say this is an agent. This is not where I started in terms of definition.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really mind if OpenAI is defining it, we'll follow the lead because they are the leader for sure, so no problem. But for me, what I want to differentiate is where do you bring a single action with an LLM call and then an action that gets onto that? I don't know if you need to call that an agent. I think agentic workflow for me is what we've built into our solution, which is if you look, I'm going to give you an example. If you look at the performance of your brand into a given month, you will need to look at performance of your brand in the category,
Right.
performance of your brand against competitors,
In the market.
performance of your brands across retailers, and then subsegments and all that. For me, this is an agentic workflow.
Right.
The way to get to an output in less than a minute here is actually an agentic workflow where you have prompts, calls to databases, a lot more actions, and you would call them agents, right? And so this is agents working into a workflow that has single actions, but then semi-autonomously giving you an output that you use as a human. For me, this is agentic workflow. Fully autonomous agent, for me, the key distinction is that they actually make a decision or an action on your behalf.
So you can close the loop.
So the loop is closed without you having to have a human intervention.
I agree.
And I think my belief, and this is coming from our learning experience and we're still learning, is that if you don't go through the stage of agentic workflow, having a sophisticated, autonomous, agentic ways of working is going to be very difficult because you need to learn the challenges that it takes
And it
and
it gives a risk of too, if it's not complete or if it doesn't drive a insightful analytical insight or actionable insight, and if it's not giving you the final result of the workflow with the right data, then it's just segments or fragments, and it's not going to end up in the right destination. There's more risk to it.
Yeah, so I think autonomous agent will start to work for like very constrained activities where you're okay. That as long as the action is being done, you don't really mind how it got to the point of making the decision, right? But if you think of stuff where you need reliability, consistency, accuracy of the output, I think agentic workflow is what you need. You need agentic workflow.
But tell me the size. Let's talk about one function. Let's talk about one silo or division. Marketing.
Yeah.
And marketing team has brand, marketing team has media, marketing team has category.
Yeah.
Give me a rough number. How many people are there in the marketing team you're building these type of solutions? Just a rough number.
So we took an approach that is function by function because we wanted to change work processes. And in marketing, we're about now at 600-700 people.
Okay, tell me how challenging or how beneficial it is to build this automation, this autonomous agent workflow for 700 people at scale. So because that's what you need for automation, but are we there yet?
I think we are.
Okay.
It is a learning curve, so you constantly evolve. We're here to define the version 2 of some of those solutions.
Of course.
But some of those solutions are working really well. And so I'm going to give you an example. We've built a solution that we call Insight Engine. Not very creative, but that works really well. And the idea is to basically have open access to every single thing that Reckitt knows around insight for consumers, retailers, ratings and reviews, social listening, everything that we've done in terms of research.
Insight Engine, okay.
Which is to create product concepts and then to actually go to market in a better way and innovate better, right? This is accessible to everyone in the categories, to some of our markets as well. So tens of, maybe hundreds of users have access to that. I think the two challenges we've seen and that we will continue to see, but are extremely exciting challenges, are one, it's not the scale of the number of users, or actually the scale of the number of users is a more technical challenge from working with Databricks, working with the cloud partners and so on. How do we make sure that you can have certain number of users connecting at the same time and querying a lot of
bandwidth, output.
So that's kind of the stuff that if you work in IT, you know this is a constant challenge that you need to solve for. The real challenge is the adaptation to the context of the categories or the brand. Because we're not training a model. I mean, I think any company claiming in CPG business or in many industries claiming that you're building your own LLM, I would love to hear a little bit more.
So do I, yeah.
Because for many reasons, we are doing what? We're doing contextualization, taking the tacit knowledge and codifying into the solution, combining data in a unique way, and then making sure we have an output that is meaningful. That's all we're doing.
Meaningful to the Reckitt business,
Exactly.
Reckitt category dynamic.
And then to the users into that. And so this is where in the insight engine, coming back to that, I would say training or instruction training to the model to actually make sure that you can have a meaningful input when you ask questions on insight around intimate wellness, for instance, where we have our Durex brand, has taken a lot of work. Because you need to explain, you need to prompt and explain what is okay to say in terms of answers. You need to explain what is in terms of research around sex and behavior.
It's not like your typical personal care or chocolate category.
So that's always a great example to say like the real work is really happening here. So scaling, the challenge of scaling is really there.
Excited to meet us at industry events next year? Scan the QR code to view the full event calendar kit.